Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to go over 5 ways that grad school is different from undergrad. To give you a little bit of background about my education so far, I actually got my bachelor's degree in accounting about 4 years ago, and I'm currently going back to school for my MBA. Part of the reason why I'm going back to school for my MBA is for the opportunity to move up in my company. That's something that's very important to me. But also, I plan to sit for the CPA, and as part of the requirements for the CPA, I need 150 hours. So getting the MBA kind of fulfills the extra requirements that I need to sit for the CPA. I will finish with my MBA next summer, and then I plan to sit for the CPA right away. So that's just kind of a little bit of background about me and my education, just so you kind of know. I'm about halfway done with my MBA right now, and I've noticed so far that there's a huge difference between what I'm doing in grad school compared to what I did in my undergrad. So let's go ahead and get started in the 5 ways that are different. I have my little notes here, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. The first thing that's different is the teaching style. So in undergrad, a lot of what my professors did, at least, was lecture. So they would get up, they would put their PowerPoints, or they'd write on the board, and they would lecture on what we were supposed to read before. In grad school, that is completely different. So we still have to do our readings, but then we come back to class, and part of the class, I would say a very small part of the class, is us actually going over PowerPoints, and the vast majority of it is discussion. And it's not just the professor asking questions. The students are asking questions. Students are sharing experiences. And I'll kind of touch on that a little bit later in the 5 ways. The second way that is different is the schoolwork. And what I mean is, whether you have a lot of exams, a lot of essays, stuff like that. So in undergrad, I had a ton of exams. I would say on average, I would have at least 5 regular exams and then a final exam. In grad school, that is completely different. The majority of my work is projects, and a lot of those projects are semester-long projects. So the workload is definitely completely different. The third way that grad school is different from undergrad is the type of assignments and who you're required to do the assignments with. So in and out of class, in undergrad, a lot of my work was individual. So in class, the professor wants you to practice, you do your problem, and then maybe come together with the entire class, and the professor will go over the answer. In grad school, that is different. In grad school, in-class examples are done with a group. Projects are done with a group. Everything is done with a group, and it totally makes sense. I get it. I totally get it, because in the real world, when you are working, you are not just one person. The company does not revolve just around you. If you do something and somebody else does something and one of you two screwed up, the whole company or the whole project could be screwed up. So it totally makes sense that there would be more group projects, because this is supposed to be more of a realistic experience. The fourth way that grad school is different is the type of learning that we are doing. In undergrad, a lot of my accounting classes were number crunching. So we would get an example or a problem, we would have to figure out the ratio, or we would have to figure out how to balance the balance sheet, all that type of fun stuff. In grad school, we still do some of those number crunchings, especially in accounting or finance. But the difference is a lot of what we're being graded on is more of the analysis. So you get this ratio, and what does that mean? So a lot of that is different for me. I'm used to coming up with a number and that's it. So it is very, very interesting how different it is when you actually have to explain what you're doing. I'm actually learning to really love it. I feel like now when I'm, doing my normal job, I'm thinking like, this went up. Why did it go up? And is there one thing that made it go up, or is there another ratio that I can look up to see why it went up? So it's very interesting, seeing how it is. And it totally makes sense again, because if you are the CFO of a company, you're not going to be giving someone numbers and not explaining them. So it does make sense. And even if you're not a CFO, you need to know what the numbers mean. The fifth way that I have noticed that grad school is different from undergrad is the type of discussions. I kind of touched on this a little bit before. In undergrad, the majority of our discussions were based off of like our readings, or if people had questions. It really was more of like a quick thing that happened. In grad school, on the other hand, discussions are a huge part of our class. And a lot of the discussion is our professor goes over the material, and then we get like an example or a case, and we have to come up with a way that company could solve the problem based off of what we read or what we went over. The other thing that is huge, and I actually really love this part, is we are asked to relate the material to our own experiences. So in our current jobs, in our past jobs, anything like that. And it's actually really interesting to hear people's perspectives and their experiences, because I've only had 3.5, close to 4 years of work experience, like real work experience. So there's people in my class who are in their 40s or 50s, and they have way more experience than I do. And it's just interesting seeing how things change over time and all of that. So those were the 5 ways that I've noticed that we're different in grad school. I really hope that kind of helped you, and if you're thinking about going to grad school, that kind of gave you a better picture. I know when I first started, I really did not think that it would be much different. I thought, okay, I would have a lot of tests, and I actually love taking tests, so that would be great for me. Coming into grad school and not kind of expecting, knowing what to expect, has been a little bit of a transition. Working with groups is not something I did a ton before I started grad school, but I'm telling you, being halfway done now, I absolutely love it. I think it's so awesome. You get to connect with your classmates. You get to not only socialize, but network. And now I'm excited for the days that I have school. I'm excited to go over the material. I'm excited to hear more experiences of my fellow students. And so it's been really fun. So I really encourage you, if you're on the fence about grad school, look more into it. If you are not good with working with groups, I wouldn't let that deter you. I feel like it's a gradual process. You start out, you don't really work too much in groups, and then you slowly do it, and it feels like a natural process. You don't feel like rushed, you don't feel awkward. It's a gradual thing, and I personally don't always like working in groups, but I really do during class. So I hope that helped you guys. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I plan to have many other videos on my MBA experience, my future CPA experience, budget, all that type of fun stuff. So go ahead and subscribe and leave a comment if you would like. Thanks, guys. Bye.